Music is about storytelling. How well you tell a story, because you can sing a song, and people are like bored. They're like, we don't get what you say. Like, it's not believable. You have to make the song believable.
Yeah. You've been tasting the forbidden fruit.
I don't say forbidden. I think it's just how that's part of conditioning in church. Like going to a party, going to a club. Like, it's not. And even now, when I have a chance to taste the world, I think I still gravitate towards church. Like, it's just like I can taste the world, but it's like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't entice me as much.
Only fools rush
In this episode, I hang out with Arisi, a talented musician and worship leader with a powerful story.
When you look at your cultural upbringing, have you ever found any misunderstanding brought up by your cultural background into your, Canadian church setting?
I think for me, I'm all about fusion. Even though you feel like offended by one thing, but I feel like we can always like come with similarities more than differences. So I can get to see a venue and get to let's try a different language. Like I can remember I did a gig early this year in New York, and it was like 80% was Spanish. We came up with Spanish songs. Even the English songs we did, we tried converting some into Spanish and connecting with the people.
We dive into his journey through music, how moving from Kenya to Canada shaped his faith, and gently explore the often overlooked topic of church trauma.
You talked about church trauma.
Yeah.
What is church trauma?
I think when people have negative experiences with church members.
So what would an example of that look like?
Used to, like, if you finds you chewing gum, you stick your gum to your hair. Imagine I have long hairs like this, then I have to cut my whole hair.
This turned out to be a very open and honest conversation about immigration, faith, growth, healing, and finding one's way through life. I'm excited for you to hear it. Listen in.
But while we're talking about this, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges of young Christians today? Arisi,
What's up?
I don't know how old you are, but to me, you look like you're a very young man.
Young at heart. No, I'm actually literally young. I'm 25 years old. But I feel like people always guess me to be 4 years younger than my age.
Okay.
That's my
4
theory.
years younger.
Yeah, so people, when they see me, they'd guess maybe I'm like 20, 21.
Okay.
Yeah, always. Like when I was in high school, people guessed me. I was like, Form 4 people guessed I was in class 8.
Okay.
Like so always 4 years
15,
back.
14.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're 18.
18, yeah, kind of thing.
Okay.
I think it's because my dad has young genes.
Yeah, anyways, yeah. And what I think is that young people would always prefer to live a life full of fun. And in my opinion, the most fashionable thing to do when you're young is to be involved in fun. So you are involved in ministry and church, and you're basically passionately committed to ministry and worship and music. So I'm like, why are you not doing the fashionable thing? Why are you not out there having fun, or why do you want to be involved in this kind of thing?
Good question. I think fun it's different for everybody.
Okay.
This church stuff, music stuff, all this stuff is fun for me. But I think part of it is that's how I was brought up. Would I say conditioning, or it's just my environment? It's just, it became fun. Like for me and my friends, church was a cool thing to do, actually. Like if you didn't do church, you're like, what are you doing with your life? Because from church we did stuff. Went to movies, we did like concerts, we did road trips, we did all the cool stuff. So I think church in itself became a cool. And even people who are not churchy as such, they like church because we were the cool club. So it's just, and I never thought about it.
So you're conditioned to becoming a church guy.
I think so.
Okay.
And even now, when I have a chance to taste the world, I think I still gravitate towards church. Like, it's just like I can taste the world, but it's like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't entice me as much. You've
been tasting the forbidden fruit.
I don't say forbidden. I think it's just how that's part of conditioning in church. Like going to a party, going to a club. Like it's not. You'll go dance, and then that's it. Like because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do all that stuff. So that's maybe that takes like 50% of my fun for me. But just I can go to a place where there's dancing and where I can have fun. I can bring the party still, but it's not my everyday scene kind of thing.
You just said you don't smoke, you don't drink, and all that kind of stuff. When I was growing up, I had a couple of friends in high school who used to say that the burning bush that Moses burnt in Moses' presence was weed, marijuana.
Crazy. They said they rebranded it. Great. They're rebranding. If that's your thing, you do you. But I'm like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I even thought about, not smoking, but I thought of drinking because I've always had that contention because Jesus turned water into wine. First of all, because I grew up Adventist and y'all changed the Bible. Anyway, shout out to, that's so I thought about it. I care about, but I'm like, I believe it is actually water into literal wine. So I'm like, if that's your thing, and it's you do you.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if I started taking wine and stuff, I feel like I'll just go down. Maybe it's my conditioning, but I feel like I'll just go down a rabbit hole, and I'll be like on the streets next time you see me. So I'm like, yeah, no.
I was having a chat with a friend of mine, and he was telling me that if you start drinking later in life, then alcohol takes control of your life.
Exactly, it can be very destructive. But maybe when you're younger, you can shed it off or something. Maybe I don't know. I think I missed that boat. And
You already sailed.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool.
You're 4 years young, man.
No, I'm still 4 years. There's still time. I can still catch up.
Yeah, but my perspective also comes from the science perspective.
Yeah.
When I look at many diseases out there, many lifestyle diseases, I feel like alcohol causes a lot of disease. I mean, when you go for any sort of screening, they always ask you if you've been smoking or if you've been drinking.
True.
And there's been some sort of link that has been found in scientific research between smoking or drinking and disease.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's the simple reason why I don't drink. Of course,
Makes sense.
all these other reasons come into play. I was also conditioned, like you, to dislike it. But I also see that very many people don't have very many people who undertake these things. Sometimes they lose control.
That's true as well.
And, their life starts spiraling.
I think even for me, just adding a layer to that, that's good scientifically. For me, I think it's just I never, even growing up, I think we talk about it, like even like my family or like my circle, my sphere, I never saw people drinking. So like it was never like, like some people growing up, it's like you want to like taste the wine from the bar at home or whatever. Like it's reserved for guests. Like we never had that. So it's just never a thought that crossed my mind at all. Like, so I think when I hear people talk about all that stuff, it's like, I just can't relate. Like it's crazy if you, that's like it's your struggle or like, that's also what you like. But for me, just never in my vicinity at all. So
someone would say that you grew up poor.
Why?
Because you didn't have like wine stored in some cellar somewhere for guests.
Crazy.
and your friends were poor too because they didn't have like an exotic taste.
Welcome to the poor club, guys. That's where it's at. We enjoy the poor club.
Well, someone would say the same thing about me too because I didn't grow up with cabinets or cellars full of wine and stuff.
The sad thing about that is like people actually never enjoy that wine. Like it's just always there.
Yeah.
It's just like, when do you drink it?
Well,
I think at some point
after it's 50 years old.
But that's the thing, you think you're going to enjoy it at 50 years, but again, you'll never get to do it. You'll be like, let's just stay longer, 10 more years, 5. You'll never get to do it. It always dies in that cabinet. People never actually drink that wine. So,
well, eventually, I don't know. I
feel like people always buy new wine. People always go and get new. It's a party that's get new. I'm like, but you have all this stuff in your cabinet. You use what you have, but it's just.
So when you party, then what do you drink?
And it's actually Costco is a plug for like this grape wine, whatever.
Yeah.
Non-alcoholic. Costco is a plug.
Do they call it Chamdor? Is it? Maybe it's not Chamdor.
No,
Pure Haven, I think is the name.
I don't even know the brand.
Pure Haven.
But yeah, they have some nice stuff there.
Okay.
Or just mocktails, all that stuff. Like I feel like if you look for something in life, you'll find it. If you're looking for your alternative, you'll get it.
I once tried this thing called de-alcoholized wine.
Yes, I actually bought that a few weeks ago.
What do you think about the taste?
It was okay. I prefer the Costco one more than that one.
Oh man, that thing tastes so bad.
It depends on the flavor. There's different flavors. Okay. Yeah. So I got a cranberry one. So it was still sweet. It was still nice.
I don't know, man.
Give it a shot.
I don't know.
Like if you have like this de-alcoholized beers and stuff, I'm like, why am I? You guys drink piss for real?
Vitamin Malt, I think is
there's
the green one that I normally see around in the
different
stores.
Brands. It's like, no, it's not the thing. I just enjoy my juice in peace.
Growing up, there was one by Coca-Cola that was called Alvaro.
That was like a soft drink itself.
Yeah,
and
but it had a bottle. The bottle looked like
alcoholic. That was nice.
Bottle.
It tasted nice. That was really it came and went like quick.
Yeah, I think folks around our community probably didn't enjoy it.
They cast it out.
Yeah, and maybe they weren't making as much sales.
That's true as well.
Yeah,
but it was a good run. I remember it.
But that was interesting, man. Yeah. Growing up during those times. If you're new to this show, folks, this is the Couch Connect.
I made it to the Couch Connect, guys. I made it. Mama, I made it. Woo! I feel like I made it to the 2.0. We had the 1.0.
We had the 1.0.
We just did the rebrand now.
Yeah, so Junior was actually one of the folks who came up with the name The Couch Connect.
For real?
Yeah. So you remember what we did? You probably forgot, but we had a bunch of names. We had, I think, like four.
You just kept asking for names.
Yeah, so I kept asking for. I mean, I don't remember who exactly came up with the name The Couch Connect, but there was so many. I think if I go back to the group chat, I'm gonna find it. But there was many names, and then we rounded it down to 4 names, and then eventually we voted for the 4 names, and then the Couch Connect took the top. There was, I think, maybe 7 or 8 votes for the Couch Connect.
Wow, that's cool.
I don't remember the other ones, though. I can't remember the other ones.
Cannot.
Oh, man, I can't even remember. I think one of them was the Couch Concert.
Yeah, because it was heavy in music as well.
Yeah.
So we had that concept of, yes, I remember that.
But I remember one thing that you said is that when you said, I think one of your suggestions was the Couch Connect, and what you said is that you might actually want to have a discussion instead of just singing.
Exactly.
And then maybe if you called it the Couch Concert, maybe that would...
It limits it to just singing. Yeah, exactly. Oh, crazy. That's a good memory. Crazy good memory.
Yeah. So over here, I hang out with folks like Junior, and we talk about the science and art in everyday life experiences.
Nice.
So do like this podcast and subscribe to this channel. And if you find this interesting, remember to tell your friend to tell their friends. And this is my promise to you and from the Couch Connect team that we're going to continue getting better at what we do. We'll continue producing great content. I will learn to ask great questions and continue hanging out with great folk like Junior here today. I always go back to Junior.
I love Junior. Junior is cool. You know me as it's Junior. It's Junior.
I think that's because that's what you used to call you growing up.
That's cool.
Today's conversation is going to be about music and worship. Maybe I should call it worship music. I don't know if that has a ring to it. But Evan takes me back. Evans, take me back to the beginning. Where did all this begin for you?
Wow, this feels like I'm doing a TED Talk today. The Couch Talk, Couch Connect. I think my earliest recollection when I was 5 years old at Nairobi Central Church. And this is actually I remember a bit, but my parents told me this. Like, we had like a kindergarten choir.
Okay.
And then I don't remember what song it was, but I somehow ended up being the one conducting the choir and putting the kids together at 5 and being like, this is a song we're singing, let's all sing together, like in sync. And I think from there, I think there's a spark of just like music and just like leading out and directing and organizing things. But I think that died a bit. And then when I was 6 to like 8, I did, I joined the church, the church kids choir in my church as well. It was cool. Just like a bunch of I think I remember the number. We were, I think, about 176 kids in the choir. It was like huge.
The way you say that so gracefully, we were.
That's facts. Looking back, and I say that's crazy.
And then you're like,
that's huge.
176 of you.
That's actually huge.
So you were directing and organizing.
No. In the children's choir, just a member.
Okay.
That kindergarten was just like a bunch of 20 kids. That was just like a Sabbath school, quick choir. But the actual choir was now 176 kids.
Okay.
I was just a member and like learning and just.
So what do you guys do? And 176 of you.
We're just singing. And I think at that time, which I actually appreciated now looking back, we actually were recording an album, like our first album at that time. It was a huge project, like at big venues across Nairobi. And then we lots of I remember singing and lots of practice and like practicing even the dance moves I was like, this was like, it was too much. As a child, I was like, this is too much. Y'all are doing too much. Like,
did you hate it?
Very much. I hated music from there. Because the thing is, we used to be actually traumatized. So after church, you want to play with your friends, you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
But it was always choir time. So we used to run around the church. And then we had this choir director. The guy could run around for us as well.
Yeah.
Like a grown 40-year-old man running after like 5-year-olds. Like, why are you running? Why?
So first of all, why are you guys running? Are you
like we didn't want to go for practice. We didn't want to go for practice. Practice was boring. Like, we're doing the same song 20 times, bending and stretching and singing the same notes. That was, I hated it. Like, all the kids hated it, essentially. But we were all forced. Like, the guy, if you're about to drive out of church, he'd stop your parents' car and be like, drop your child now. You're not leaving the church right now. He's coming for choir.
So the teacher used to force the parents.
Forced the whole church. That's what I'm saying. That number was not just a magical number. Like, he ensured everyone was in that choir.
Do you think the parents liked it?
I feel like that time it was, like, I feel like growing up in our culture, it was very much, everyone obeyed the teachers. Even parents were just like, whatever the teacher said, we always obeyed, we listened to it. But looking back, I'm like, parents, speak up for us. Like, stand up for your kids. Why are you kids as well? Stand up for your kids. This is not normal.
The kids not interested in singing.
Yeah, people just hated it. Like I think
Yeah.
the experience was just torture us, and people just used to like if you finds you chewing gum, you stick your gum to your hair. Imagine I have long hairs like this, then I have to cut my whole hair. Yeah, it was you're hiding under cars. He comes finding you under cars. Like it was. We did the most. We did the most, and he found you wherever you are.
You know, first of all, it's interesting that the guy, you know, I don't think that I will be comfortable touching someone's gum because that's someone's saliva. I'm like, this grossed out.
From your mouth, bring it.
Yeah.
Stick it on your hair. Girls, guys, anyone.
But also, that's commitment, man. The guy was
That's-
committed.
I think for him it was like kind of like the end justifies the means kind of thing. But I don't feel like it really did. It maybe did in a way. Maybe.
I mean, you're here now, probably thanks to that guy.
Actually, no. What happened? And then I stayed there for like from the time I was 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And then when he left as being the choir director, I left right. When he left, actually, like the whole choir dropped to like 10%. Like maybe there was like 15 kids left or 20 kids from 176. Because it wasn't a passion for anyone. It was everyone
Yeah.
was forced to do it. So everyone just left after that.
Yeah.
So I hated singing from that time. I didn't even like church stuff. I was like, I want to just go home after church. Like, wow, what are we doing here the whole day?
Yeah.
Church going up the whole day. I was like, yeah, this is not it.
To give context here, Adventists normally stay in church the whole day.
And it's back home. At
Yeah.
least for me, like it's a whole day affair. I was like, this is not it. You said Sabbath rest, like
Yeah.
this is not restful at all. So I hated it.
Okay.
And then also part of it is, but something I noticed as well in that time, people used to get solos. So that piqued my interest. Like, what does it take to get a solo?
Is it a solo in choir?
Like in the
or-
choir, so like someone has a solo before all the
Okay.
kids get to sing.
So where are you performing this solo?
Like at the church.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the church is your stage,
The
or
church
your,
is the stage,
your
exactly,
congregation
yeah.
is your
the church
audience.
is like 3,000 to 5,000 people. It is like
Okay.
huge mega church.
Yeah, that's a big audience.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when people talk about stage fright, I'm like, I can't relate. We've been doing this since I was a child.
Since you're
since I was born.
Since you're 4 years old.
Since I was 4 years old, we've been doing this big crowd. So I think when people ask me about stage fright and being nervous, I just don't have it. But yeah, so that people used to get solos, and I was like, I was always intrigued. Like, how did they manage to get a solo? And then, but part of it was like, I felt like it was favoritism or whatever. But later on, down the road, I got to realize like if you have like any special gift and you have like any interest and they see something in you, then they give it a solo. So I was like, one day I'm gonna do a solo. Like one day, I know I can sing. I just had a feeling I knew I could sing. I was like, one day I'm gonna do it. When I left the choir from like grade 3, when I was in grade 5, I saw the choir sing one time. They sang "Oh Holy Night" it was a Christmas program. And there's this girl that did a solo, and she killed it. Like I don't usually cry, but I was like, in my heart, I was in tears.
How
I was
old are
like-
you?
I was 10. 10
Did
years
you
old.
like the girl?
No. She was older. She was like 14, whatever.
I mean,
true, but no. She's just different age. But she
Okay.
could really sing. Like she could move like a whole audience, and that's how I got back to singing after listening to that one performance of "Oh Holy Night" at Christmas.
okay.
So yeah.
Oh, Holy Night. So you ended up going back into the choir, and then what happened?
So now I think things are very different now. So I think what's a part of it is me and now my new friends. I think my recollection of like my first friends in life was now we had this like whole group now in church in the choir, because most kids already left the choir. Like everyone was. This is
Your
where
age
church.
mates.
This is where church hat comes from. All the church trauma. Everyone who left, and now people started coming back slowly now. And then now from there, they're like, okay, now we can start. Let's sing. It was a smaller group. We're doing cool songs, not like crazy repetitions. Like we're doing the same song for 2 hours. Like we didn't have any recording, so there's no like crazy project. It's just chill commitment. And then from there as well, I think I had moved to an Adventist school as well at that time. So I started doing some singing in school as well. And then so from there as well, I had friends who were doing singing. So it's like when I joined the choir, the teacher as well knew I could sing at this point. So she made me do a solo one time.
In school.
No, this is not the church,
Oh,
the
okay.
children's choir, the church
Yeah.
choir. So now I think one of the first times I'm getting the spotlight, like the solo after my kindergarten stint.
Yeah.
Now at grade 5.
5,000 audience.
Big
Member
stage,
audience.
guys, big
Yeah.
stage. And then now doing a solo to the Christmas program like the next year in the children's choir. Had a good time just singing, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then just from there now walking that muscle. And I can still see some kids are extra special, so I was like, why are those kids extra special? We're like, who was getting the solo still getting the prime time of this choir? Like it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not like outspoken, but you can just see like some people are just That's why I could see some other kids could do runs and riffs. I was like, okay, like when you're learning a song, you can learn it like straight tone, like how a song is. But again, how can me and you differentiate a song? It's whatever color you add to a song, however you interpret it, how you pull the notes, how you keep the notes short, how you make it dramatic or just simple. So different things like that really mattered. So I was like, okay, just learning those things. And then I tried it one time doing runs. The teacher was like, no, cut that out. I want the straight tone. Don't give me anything extra. I was like, you're killing my dream.
So what is a run?
Like assuming a note is straight note, you can sing a note above and a note below to just, you can do, it's like a trill. Like if I do instead of doing I can do and I start and end in the same place, but I'm doing other things in between.
Okay.
Higher or lower in any creative way. There's no like set way to do it, but just any expressive way. You can play with any random notes and just do a run, just like that.
I'm learning today that music has color. So like
color. It's
so
all
like
about the color.
It's like blue music, red music, green music.
Like yeah, you need in that way. Even if you don't call it that, but yeah, in its own musical way, and that really makes a huge. But again, straight tone is really amazing. You can do straight tone, but it's about music is about storytelling. How well you tell a story, because you can sing a song, and people are like bored. They're like, we don't get what you say. Like it's not believable. You have to make the song believable.
Yeah.
So all this color is meant to enhance the story. Like if I do all that, your mind is piqued, someone is starting listening, like, oh, what's that nice sound, rather than just But if I do with vibrato, like in an opera way, then the whole audience is quiet. It's like capture my attention. Or if I sing very softly, like like in a breathy way, then it's like, wow, everything's still, it's calm, it's peaceful. So the same notes, just in different ways. You can command a room, you can be still. Especially when we're talking about worship music, all those things are very subtle but very important. And the audience shouldn't feel like you're trying to force those things on the song. It should come very authentic and natural.
So are you then trying to point the audience towards some place?
Towards the message of the song.
Okay.
That's the whole idea. So in terms of worship music, I'm pointing the audience to God. If I'm doing like an R&B song, it's towards their lovers, or to just have that feel good. Like if you listen to Disney music, you always feel like you're like in like cloud nine, with just like the world is a perfect place, because the music is very intentional like that. How the chords they choose, there's happy chords, there's sad chords, there's like jazzy, like things that make music can make you feel different things. So that's how you have to be very careful with it, very intentional with it, and just very smart, because it can change the story like in a crazy way.
You talked about church trauma.
Yeah.
I was gonna stop you there, but I thought you were going in a direction. So I want to take you back to, what is church trauma?
I think when people have negative experiences with church members, that's what.
So what would an example of that look like?
Like in this case, like I came to do stuff I loved for the church, like singing for the Lord, and me putting gum on my hair. Like, why are we doing that? Like, can we just have a discussion? No, I just don't want to come because you're just killing my vibe.
Can that discussion also turn into trauma?
No, but if we discuss it, we wouldn't have to get to the putting gum on my hair.
Okay.
But now you just like, you didn't even discuss, you just put gum on my hair, and now I have to cut my whole, like I was going to be like looking hot in the summer, and now I'm going to be bald in the summer. Like, let's not do that. Like different things like that. It's just people, I think, when people are just, it's humans. When someone hurts another person and then it happens in the context of church, it becomes church trauma.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that when you are Adventist, you should be following specific set rules.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow those rules, you should be facing consequences. Or maybe you can educate me. What does being a Seventh-day Adventist mean to you personally?
Say more. Unpack that question again. I don't get in trouble in this podcast. This is on camera. Like, say it one more time.
Okay, so I would imagine that, first of all, I don't remember exactly what I asked, but I'm going to paraphrase. I think I have a rough idea. So I would imagine that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has rules that should be followed.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the rules, then there should be consequences. But then again, I also want to understand what that means. I don't think this is like even like
church rules. This is just how we interact as people. There's not like, it's not like any doctrinal like issue, like someone didn't follow, or any like rules. Like this is just like how we interact as humans. Like maybe it's just the person's personality clashes with mine, and then we just clash, and it just happens in the church. Like if it happened in the office, maybe we'd call it office trauma or something. I don't know, corporate trauma or something. I don't know. But it's just how people interact. But there's nothing. I won't say anything doctrinal or anything like according to beliefs that people really go against, and it's an issue. It's just even the small little things really count.
Okay.
Yeah. And how you handle those conflicts.
Right. But then you can tell me what being Seventh-day Adventist means to you. What do you understand the Seventh-day Adventist Church to
I think
mean?
it's the bigger thing is like it's all about being Bible believing,
Mhm.
and it's about Sabbath keeping,
Okay.
and then believing in Jesus' second coming
Okay.
and salvation above everything.
So Bible believing meaning that the Bible takes precedence above everything else?
Yeah, exactly. The Bible is it's our guide.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
What
it.
about when science conflicts with the Bible?
I choose faith and just choose the Bible
Okay.
because again, science can also have holes as well.
Hmm. Do many Adventists believe that as well?
I think everyone believes at the end of the day, because I think especially us growing up, like you always have that questioning phase in your faith, and you want like the right answer, like to be convinced all the facts, but you come to realize that there's no answers for everything, and
Mhm.
when like your wisdom, your understanding fails, you just seek God, just trust in faith.
Have you ever had a moment where you really doubted?
Many times, and I think
Okay.
I'm glad growing up I had a very safe space to express
Your
my
doubt.
doubt. I remember
Yeah.
when I was my teenager, like at 13, 14, we had it's a Sunday school, Sabbath school class. It's called Early Teens.
Mhm.
And like we had the most great, I think at the time we had the most candid conversations in my life. Like it was like unhinged. You could
Mhm.
raise anything, scrap the lesson, just talk about any topic and
Yeah.
we'd address it.
Mhm.
I think that really built my faith because we talked about literally anything. Like, yeah.
Give me an example of one of the most controversial things you talked about.
Like, that time even this gayism and whatever, like if you want to go to
Yeah.
heaven, something like that would come up. Or
Mhm.
like growing up, we weren't allowed to go to like stuff on Sabbath, like
Mhm.
events. Like we had something called the Matahatran, and we always
Yeah.
had FOMO because we
Mhm.
always used to miss
Because folks
something.
are running.
People are going for a cool event, or like if you want to go for like your friend's wedding and it's on a
Mhm.
Sabbath.
Mhm.
Just small things like that.
When you're a kid, you have friends who are already wedding?
No, I'm saying like if you want to go for, you have a family member having a wedding.
Okay, I see
and
what you
you can't
mean.
go for
Yeah.
a wedding because
Mhm.
you're going to church or whatever, or like you can't watch movies, or you can't do things you can't do and don't do on the Sabbath.
Mhm.
Christian living, all those things. We even had sexual talks later on. Like people raised like the most absurd things, and it was a safe space. We had professionals come to talk to us.
Yeah.
Where we talked about like all this Illuminati stuff, like all this devilish stuff, and not even in a scary way. Obviously, it was scary, but in a inquisitive way as well. Just
Yeah.
exposing things and like, hey, have the information and then work with that from there. So I'm really glad I had that upbringing.
Mhm.
Because I've met people who are like in a way sheltered, like they didn't talk about things, and it's like everything is hush hush. And I'm like, life shouldn't be like that. Just if you have a question, just ask. And
And you guys are talking about all these things in a church.
in a church setting, like trust.
Okay.
We
I
talk
thought
to
that church should be about, preaching about, the end of times and salvation and going to heaven.
Change your church.
So you're
and
here
see
talking
how-
about
change your
you're talking
churches.
about what, sexuality, and you're talking about Illuminati, and you're talking about
everything. Like
I don't know.
anything you need, like even how to be a good guest or a good
Okay.
host,
Mhm.
like even like courtship, like just different things, like how to be respectful, different basics in life.
And I feel like that's what church should be.
Always, I'm down for that all the time.
Yeah.
Make it as real, as practical as possible.
Would you say that many churches do that? Many Seventh-day Adventist churches do that?
I haven't gone to many, so I don't know,
Mhm.
but
But it's possible to do that. I mean, it's not against the rules.
yeah, exactly. It's definitely possible. So I think it's
Okay.
just also the culture. 'Cause I think part of us, the teachers we had, maybe I think we're lucky in that way.
Mhm.
We had like a medical, like a doctor as one of our teachers
Yeah.
For our Sabbath school classes. So I think she was very open to like, hey, let's discuss anything.
Okay.
We had people like in like counseling, psychology fields as well.
Mhm.
So they'd be down. There's no shame in those conversations. So people are just
Yeah.
open to asking those things. And even the teachers we had as well were very open minded. Like they didn't like shut down any idea.
Mhm.
And they open it up for discussion. And what I also learned is like they don't have all the answers. Like we can discuss, and then you can also come up with your conclusion as well. Like it's
Mhm.
you have a free will, free mind. Discuss here what's logical, because it's not everything is not like laid out in the Bible. So it's like different things that affect our lives. So
Yeah.
use your mind, figure it out, and come up with a solution.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I really appreciate that about my upbringing. Like it was very empowering.
You talked about Sabbath keeping as
Yeah.
being one of the principles of Seventh-day Adventist Church. So what is Sabbath keeping?
I'm keeping the seventh day of the week as a worship day, as a holy day.
Okay. So what does that entail?
So for me, that's Saturday. That's so on the week. That's Saturday, the 7th
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
And just set aside from Friday evening. So for us, we believe from sunset to sunset, evening to evening. So it's all about just worship and keeping your heart tuned to God, essentially.
Mhm.
I don't do it the best, but it's ideally whatever I can do to keep reverent and just focus on God during
Okay.
that time is what I aim to do.
Does it matter? I mean, the sun sets at different times across
Yeah.
the globe. So
whenever it sets for you.
So if I am in, I don't know, in Vancouver right now, it's going to be, 5 hours behind, maybe 4 hours behind, I don't know, from Toronto. And what that looks like is, in Toronto, you guys will be resting for your Sabbath. And in Vancouver, I'll be going about my business.
You're literally just observing the sun. It's not like, it doesn't matter time zone. It's just whatever you see the sun setting.
So it's whatever time the sun is setting, wherever you are. If you're in
Yeah.
Africa, in the Middle East, in Australia.
Whenever you see the sun.
Okay.
It's a sign to wrap up the week.
Mhm.
It's just rest, just chill.
Do you think that is useful? I mean, apart from just being, resting and, I don't know what.
True. I agree. It's very useful. It's like I think growing up, I never understood it. It never made sense because I feel like I was busy or like why do we need the rest? Like, let me do stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, it felt like a way to block the fun I had. But now growing up is like, yo, this is like vacation once a week. Like, I'm gonna take it anytime. Everyone needs that vacation because we're always on the go and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
It's just a moment to just chill and pause. But even us, sometimes as Adventists, we're also very busy on Sabbath. So we have to catch ourselves with that and be like, hey,
I understand that you gotta take it easy.
Maybe I'm doing too much here.
Yeah.
Let me just rest. I feel like if you're doing too much on Sabbath, means you're probably you're doing it wrong. You should maybe delegate something. Especially a big thing in our church is volunteering and like serving in different ministries. So just pause and chill.
I was thinking about what you were just saying here now, how when you were a kid, you never thought it was important to rest.
Yeah.
I had this auntie who used to ask me to sleep in the afternoon. I was
Yeah.
probably, maybe 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. She asked me to sleep in the afternoon. And I'm like,
That's
I don't wanna
prime.
sleep.
That's
I
prime fun
want to
time.
go out and play with my friends,
That's it.
And then she used to make this comment. Man, if someone told me to sleep right now,
Yeah.
I would be so happy. I would jump in bed and sleep. I'm like, man, who's stopping you from sleeping?
Yeah, you sleep. You wanna sleep and sleep.
If you want to sleep, jump in bed and
Please
sleep.
jump right now. I empower you. Jump. Go to that bed.
Now I'm old and I understand the rest is important.
Yep,
And
exactly.
sometimes, even like this afternoon I was coming to shoot this part, I was like,
Yeah.
man, I was so tired, but I had to do this, because
You
I mean, it's your
committed.
time, you've committed your time. I don't want
Exactly.
to, call you and tell you, man, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
But also then, like life in general, you got to show up for work, you got to show up
Exactly.
for different responsibilities.
That's true.
I think then what you said here about resting on Saturday becomes helpful.
Very, very.
In the sense that you have this day in the week when you're just resting and chilling and doing nothing.
Simple.
Well, nothing is. I think for Adventists, you say that you guys are working all the time on Saturday.
Well, if you're over volunteering, please stop. Rest.
Okay.
Rest.
So you then. This question will probably be more relevant to what we were talking about before we talk about Sabbath keeping. You moved from Kenya to Canada, and I want to imagine that your experience in Kenya was different from your Canadian Adventist experience.
Very much.
Okay,
When
you wanna talk about that?
We jumped all these years. Anyway, yeah. But I think for the first time, I remember I went to church one time and we ended at like 12:30. I was like, this is it. Like,
Okay.
there's nothing after. Like, we're going home. Like, what do you guys do Saturday afternoon? Like, I'm always in church. Like,
Okay.
what? So that was huge for me.
So
Like,
so what I actually meant here was asking if the Adventist practices are the same.
yeah.
So not necessarily your story, but Adventist practices in Kenya, what you do in church in
Yeah.
Kenya, would that be the same experience?
Like
in
for that,
church
like that
in Toronto?
example, like
Yeah.
the first thing is like time. Like in Kenya, we do like the whole full day, as you said.
Yeah.
But here, 12:30, we were done.
Church is done,
Exactly.
parking lot is empty.
Parking lot is empty. You go mind your business. But that's not for every church here as well. That's at least I go to a more Caucasian church, so
Yeah, that's how they do it.
They love the afternoon naps. So and I'm like I'm pro that. So and everything was just more structured. Like we didn't start church that early as well here.
Yeah.
Versus back home.
Okay.
And I think even during back home, church is people are always there. Like during the week, people are always in church for some reason. Singing practice, like just
Some
a
meeting.
fundraiser, meeting, like a youth week of prayer, like anything. There's people just always in church.
Yeah.
But here, like you actually have to look for someone to open the church for you. Like the church is closed after that Saturday at 12:30. Like it's not open till the next Saturday kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that culture it's very different. And people here, like back home, it's very much that groupy vibe. You care about each other. It's all about just forming that church culture, like church community in church. But here, it's like you have to like actually take extra time to make that community.
Do you think that people would change then? Coming from a place where it seems like there's activities for you to do in church every time,
Yeah.
and kind of like there's even opportunities for you to volunteer. When you move to North America, is it possible that you don't find these activities and then you sort of can slip away from the faith?
That's true, actually. Yeah, I never thought about that. Actually, that's true. Because as I said before in the conversation, like the church is my whole world. But if I grew up here, that would not be the case at all. Because church is like a one-day show, and we kill it really well, and that's it.
Okay.
But it's not like I don't think it's a lifestyle as such in a way. So yeah, that can really happen easily.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back then to your experience, and I want to learn how that experience then transformed into you not showing up for one day and killing it, and going back to life. All right, so I think we left off at when you were in
grade 5 ended.
Yeah.
Christmas ended. Yeah. So then now, after the grade 5 show and like the Christmas concert, that people are like, now you can sing whatever. We formed a singing group as well in my elementary school, like the church school. We were called Faith Warriors.
Okay.
Like it was like the top hot group out there, guys. Like, trust me, it was amazing. It was like a five-piece a cappella group.
Yeah.
Back home, like a cappella is like the big thing. Like a cappella is everywhere.
Yeah.
So we had like, if you can just sing, if your voice cracked a bit, you're the bass. Like whatever you have, like whatever you can bring to the table, like we just start with it. And we started singing growing up. We even had a concert, I think, when we were in grade 8.
Yeah.
When we were 13. With like, I think we were really under people's, like the older a cappella groups, we were under their wings, so we really learned from people. So I'm really grateful to be learning from. In my mind, they're like the best at that time. Like we had groups like Salt, Final Appeal, Humble, like all those guys were like, because everyone used to come and practice at the church, which was next to the school next to the church as well. So
damn, then you used to go to church every day.
I was always in church, my guy. Sunday to Sunday, Monday to Monday, I was always in church. Like literally, there's no day like I won't be there. And that compound, I was always there. My school and church were the same. That's what I'm saying. Like my life is just, that's why it makes sense. Like for me, my life was just church.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So I didn't have no compartmentalizing, no nothing. It was just you better love this place. Like there's no otherwise.
Did you love that life though? If you look
That's
back?
the thing. I think now when I moved to this Adventist school, and then when I joined the choir again, all these things made me, I was in a different space. I started loving it for myself. Okay. Because now, like my friends now at that time were, church was a cool thing. We enjoyed it. So it just rubbed off on me, and I love it as well.
Okay. Why do you think many kids don't ever find that?
The $1 million question every parent has.
Or what did the parents do differently?
That's the thing. Actually, I remember my parents were actually very hands-off in my childhood. I talk about this a lot. They're very, just you just have a good life. That's it. Like, they never forced me to go to like anything. Like it was just like, if you want to do it. Maybe I was forced to go to, not forced as much, Pathfinder and Adventurers, like the clubs we have at church. Other than that, it's just, even like the singing I did for myself at school and at church is all self-driven. Like, because the choir became democracy. Like if I wanted to go, I could go. If I didn't want to go, I couldn't go. Like everything was just free will. So I think I just love it for me. So I think the bigger thing for me, I'd say, why people would love this is just if that's the air you breathe all the time. So it's easier for you to actually enjoy it. But the other option why people don't, I don't know. We talked about this with my friends who we grew up with. We're like, because we actually saw a little shift with our friendships growing up. Some kids who just didn't like church for themselves, they just drifted off and stopped coming to church and stuff. And us who loved it, just like it became a core of us. And a big thing for us was singing. So music was a huge thing. Worship music. Just we're always singing in church. Like there's Sabbath school somewhere, they need people. We're there. They need divine service. Afternoon, they need someone to sing somewhere. We were always there, like a concert. So we were always just practicing as well in our free times, coming to church. So that was just our environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then I guess eventually you finish your elementary school, you go to high school.
High school as well.
And then so you were in singing groups all this time, right?
All the time. Even in high school, when I moved to high school as well, there was a singing group that was about to die out. But I think the Lord sends people at the right time. So I came in. They're like, oh, look at this guy. If you know Paul Morgessi.
Yeah, no, Paul Morgessi.
Exactly. So we're in the same
probably works
school.
in the UK right now.
Like exactly, yeah. So he was in like grade 12 and I was coming in grade 9. He was like, oh, this is perfect. I mean, we didn't even know each other as much before then, but we went to the same church. So then from there, it's like, oh, you can sing, whatever. And I could teach parts. I could like teach choir, teach groups. I was like, you're the guy to take on the group. So
do you think that going to choir in when you're 4 years old or 0
Yeah.
years old?
4.
Since you're always,
Minus
4.
4.
Do you think all that translated into being able to teach
Exactly.
music
What I
in
say,
high school?
everything is a building block
Okay.
in life. Because I think sometimes we want to have like this one opportunity where we can learn all these things and be great, but life doesn't work like that. Life is all about building blocks. Like where I am today is because of things I've done. Like I didn't even realize that it's a series of events that leads you to where you are.
Yeah.
So it's not like about like I went to one school where I learned music and then I became like this cool music guy. No, it's about all the small steps where I was faithful in just leading out in Sabbath school when it was only 5 people there, and I could just sing and hold it down. I could teach a group of these people I never met. So all these things became building blocks towards my music journey as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so since moving to Toronto, then how has your spiritual journey evolved or changed?
I think it's pretty much the same. The biggest thing that changed for me, so I think that's a big thing I think we didn't touch about, and I didn't mention when the difference between Adventism, at least for me, growing up back home versus here, it was in my mind, it was a very legalistic framework back home. Like the people pleasingness, doing everything right, and like following that set of rules versus it coming intrinsically from the inside out. And then when I came here and I saw spirituality here, y'all call it westernized and like it's basic, but there's something about it. Because I think we're too much in the doctrine back home and like all the heavy topics, but here it's all about, it's God's love and grace, but actually it's very fundamental.
Yeah.
Because if you're focusing on these heavy topics without the core, it's all in vain. You're just like, you're the best rule keeper. But I think once I learned about just God's love deeply for me, and like I don't have to perform or do anything, and like I'm already loved, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That changed it for me. I remember I went to a retreat one time, I think right around COVID, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the speakers just talked about the regular gospel, but it just hit me in a different way. I was like, wait, what? This is a gospel? Like I've lived with the gospel my whole life, and no, it can't be this easy.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's like you have to do all these things to like earn in a way. We say we don't need to earn it, but at the back of your mind, you know, if you feel like you're a sinner, you feel like you've missed, like you wouldn't go to heaven or whatever, like those beliefs we have as Adventists. But it's like, no, for real, like if you're already saved, you're chilling. Like God got you. You don't have to feel like, because I slipped up here, then I missed salvation or whatever. I think that's part of that religious, legalistic framework. It's like you have to be sinless, and there's something to that and repentance and all that. But again, salvation it's as simple as if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, that's it. You're saved.
Yeah.
Forget about what you did or whatever. This is salvation starts there. And it's that. So I think when I learned that and believe that fully for myself, that changed my whole Christian view. How I expressed worship, how I just believed, everything literally changed. Like I could not believe it. Like it's like I feel like I grew up in all these things, but I just missed that small shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about, all these building blocks that have gotten you here, and you've also talked about music. But I want to ask you, how does music specifically connect you with God?
Yeah, that was my earliest recollection of God. It was always music, like the choir stuff.
Yeah.
The kids' kindergarten choir. It was always music for me, I think. Rather than the whole doctrines, the Bible, like the big heavy topics, it was always music for me.
Yeah.
It was my entry door to loving God, because it's one thing to just know and be in that environment, but for me, loving God is always through music for me. So once that happened, everything else became easier, because music is a fun thing to do already. So it can be for God or not for God, but it's really fun. So you're adding God to it. It's like now, okay, it's more palatable. I think for me as a child, it became very palatable. Versus if I was read this like 10 books of the Bible and like let it make sense for you, that could be, at least for me, it didn't speak to me as much.
Yeah.
But music just was a door opener for me. Yeah. But I don't think it's everything as in a Christian life's maturity, but it's certainly one of the biggest door openers. I think we don't give it enough credit, but it's actually very important, I think. Yeah.
Sometimes we think about, musical excellence, and then how you can be spiritually authentic, but then again, keep your music, very excellent.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, is it possible that sometimes some people can be very performative?
Yeah.
And end up forgetting to have some sort of spiritual authenticity?
Or like musically performative.
Yeah. So they do so great in
Yeah.
their music, and they focus so much on their music,
Yeah.
but they forget to grow their spiritual side.
Yeah, it's a very easy trap to fall into, because again, it's where your priority is. So you just, but again, it can also, yes, that's how it should be. Like focus on spirituality first, but again, also church music should just not be musically mediocre and like spiritually great. Because growing up, I was like, as long as you have a willing heart, you wanna just serve the Lord, come and sing, but
listen to the voice.
I'm like, no, please,
listen to the words.
Let's
I
not,
actually use the word.
Listen to the words, not the voice. Yeah, let's not do that. No, I think I remember I used to argue with my friend Ray about this all the time. It's like, why are you always speaking working with people who just like have a willing heart? Just speak talent. I was like, the talent doesn't match with the heart. The hearts are. But now I'm like, yeah, let's have a bar. Let's have a bit of some excellence.
Yeah.
I think we let ourselves lose with mediocrity now. But the other point is true. I think spirituality is really in and outside music. I think that it just shows where your heart is. I think I learned this through my non-Adventist friends actually.
Okay.
I remember we did a show one time, a popular show in Toronto, and then it was good. Everything sounded good. In our standards, it was amazing. And then he came to me after. He's like, hey, Evans, like your band was amazing. You guys did amazing. But just something about the heart of your players. Like people just don't have a heart for the Lord. Like it's just, everyone just coming to perform the best chords they can show, the best trance they can do. But it's like, there was no heart in whatever they did. And I was like, whoa. I stopped in my tracks that day. I was like, first of all, you're not even Adventist. And you can see that through us as Adventists.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. 'Cause I think that's the different things that come into play. Like the color. So music has genres, right?
Yeah.
So like, especially in the worship music scene, it's crazy, but there's two genres. It's called gospel music and there's Christian music, Christian contemporary music, and there's gospel music.
Okay.
Exactly.
Educate me.
So like your favorite worship bands, if you like Elevation or Hillsong or like all those cool guys, Maverick City, that's called Christian contemporary CCM.
Okay.
If you like your Kirk Franklin, your African American gospel, like Kara Shear, Ty Tribbett, that's called gospel music.
Okay.
So in gospel music, the world, it's all about showcasing your best talent. Like I want to hear the best chords, the best jazzy things, the best drum licks, like everything fancy. That's what I want to hear in gospel. In Christian music, it's very give me the vibe. I want to feel like I'm in Jesus. I'm in Jesus. I'm in heaven right now.
Yeah.
Like the vibe of like the electric guitars, the pads, the very. Yeah, just very, like, it's very feel-goody. But gospel is like, we're in a struggle, get me out of the struggle. Like, give me Jesus for today. Like, Jesus will pay my bills right now.
Okay.
So very much, like, I'm at war.
What about, I'm a hymn guy. So what does hymn for?
Hymns, we call you guys, that's another category. That's the third category. We call that traditional.
Okay.
That's like the old school.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know why
I'm
you guys.
4 years young, folks.
You got to update your playlist, guys. That's what we call traditional. That's traditional. But it's still cool.
Yeah.
And there's also like country as well. Like people who love Gaither music.
So that's
another
all traditional?
That's like traditional-ish, but it's more country. I'd say country.
Okay.
Like gospel country.
Right. Yeah.
And like bluegrass, all in that genre. So those are the main, I think, big pillars of gospel.
All right. So
So-
I feel like you're more into gospel and CCM then?
I'm more CCM and traditional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gospel, not too much. Because I think I didn't really grow up with too much gospel. I grew up with a hybrid. I grew up with Brooklyn Tabernacle. It's like, if anyone knows a choir, it's like, I feel like it's more of a hybrid of gospel and country in a way. Because it doesn't have like all the repetitions and like the praise breaks and the dancing and the shouts. It doesn't really have that, but it's still soulful. It's still gospel-y enough. So I think that's my sweet spot, I'd say. The foundation is very much the hymns, structures, how the songs are in a way.
Yeah.
But it's still in a very modern way as well.
But I remember we hung out with, we went to a Kirk Franklin concert sometime. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, we did Kirk, yeah. We went to Kirk, and it was Kirk in Maverick City, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maverick City was there? Yes,
Yeah, it was a joint. It was actually Maverick City. It was a joint, the Kingdom
It was a
tour.
Maverick City, and then
Kirk.
I think Kirk was
It was a joint
featuring.
tour of the two.
Okay.
Yeah, Kirk and
And then we also did
Elevation before that as well.
Yeah, that was before. I don't even remember when that
Exactly.
was. But I try getting into that sort of worship space, but I don't understand it yet.
Why?
I'm still too traditional, man.
He's still traditional. But I think I feel like that should be a thing, actually. Let's make traditional music like the cool thing.
Okay.
I think they tried like with making songs like In Christ Alone or whatever, but they just come up with one hit and then it just dies. But they should come up with more traditional songs and feel like it's cool.
Yeah. So are there specific artists whose songs inspire you? or influence your worship style?
Ooh. I think Israel Houghton is a big one for me.
Okay, and I think it's CCM. Does he hang out with
He's
Maverick City?
CCM and gospel-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one who made all the cool songs. Like I think Trading My Sorrows, Jesus at the Center. I thought he made You Alpha and Omega. I'm not sure, but like all the big worship songs like from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Was by
Oh,
Israel.
the guy has been out for that
It's
long.
been so long,
Okay.
like since the 90s. Since he's been like huge.
He's the guy who always has a hat on, right?
These days he has
Like
a hat on.
like a white brim hat. Sort of,
Yeah,
maybe not-
because he
yeah.
went bald recently.
Oh,
so actually he used to be
okay.
the lead. I just learned this. He used to be the lead worship leader for Lakewood Church. That's
Oh,
Joel Osteen's church.
okay.
Yeah, so he used to be back in the day.
Mhm.
So that's a very big. I love Kirk, obviously. Different young Jonathan McReynolds. Elevation is huge for me. I love Elevation. Maverick City. Gaither, I'm a huge fan of Gaither. And then Brooklyn Tabernacle. I think those will be like my 5 top people
Okay.
I go to in terms of worship inspiration. Yeah.
Now, going back to how you grew up, you told me you grew up very fundamentally legalistic setting. So
Yeah.
you grew up in a very fundamentally legalistic setting. At least that's how you put it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. As the church upbringing, but not my
Yeah.
family. My family was
Okay.
a bit different because growing up, we listened to all this music I'm saying,
Oh, okay. I see.
except like the CCMs.
Yeah.
But we listened to Brooklyn growing up, like all this worship music. I actually learned it growing up in my house.
So do you bring any parts of that Kenyan culture into your current worship style?
Always, anything. I think that's part of what makes your worship experience unique. Like if they invite me to lead out worship somewhere, they want a taste of what I bring. Like, so anything I learned growing up, like if it's even common, like choruses, like Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Like people don't sing that often, but I'm like, that's something I grew up listening to. So I'm like, let me bring that. Like it's that nostalgic vibe. So different things that really connect people to worship. I love incorporating that stuff. If it's like, if I loved hymns growing up, like whatever I loved, like I'd love to sing When We All Get to Heaven, like such a majestic feel. Like just throw that in a worship set and add it to another contemporary song and make it
Yeah.
sound cool. So all that stuff I love to play around with in worship.
Yeah, I also feel like you've had some sort of freedom in how you are running this, or at least running your life as as a worship. Can I call you a worship leader?
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably, yeah.
Yep. Have you ever seen any misunderstanding though? Like culturally, when you look at your cultural upbringing, have you ever find any misunderstanding brought up by your cultural background into your, Canadian church setting?
I don't think. I think for me, I'm all about fusion,
Okay.
and I think maybe it's just people pleasing. I don't know, but I think for me, I like to accommodate everybody.
Okay.
And even though you feel like offended by one thing, but I feel like we can always like come with similarities more than differences. So I always look for similarities between different audiences, congregations, and I think that's why I'm also picked to sing at different places because of things like that. I can get to see a venue and get to let's try a different language. Like I remember I did a gig early this year in New York, and it was like 80% was Spanish, and they knew like none of this contemporary stuff, even the traditional stuff they knew it in Spanish.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, what do we do here? I
You're-
just had that
you're a-
background, so we came up with Spanish songs. Even the English songs we did, we tried converting some into Spanish and connecting with the people and just researching. Because Israel Houghton did a couple of Spanish stuff. I tried to pull some of his stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that awareness, cultural context, and because sometimes, and it's fair, some people will just go and bulldoze their way how they do their worship in whatever setting, and it works for them. But for me, I'm like, I like to, rather than us just doing like a show for you guys, I want you to be a part of. It's like we're just ushering you into God's presence at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting there, like then our job is kind of failed in that sense. So whatever can make you connect, if it's a cultural song, if it's whatever, anything that tickles the ear and makes you feel connected to God in a certain way, we like to add elements of that in worship. So it's all about fusion than differences. Because even growing up, I remember there's a huge thing about like people being anti-drums and all that stuff. Yeah. I lost sleep over that for a few years, but I was like, yeah, it's not that deep. Actually, growing up, we were actually pro drums. Like, even in church, we used to listen to songs with like drums and like high energy and whatever.
Yeah.
Our children's choir was very upbeat and all that. And then later on, there's a shift, different story. But
Let's talk about that shift.
let's go there. I don't know, actually. I don't know. People became, I think that's what I pulled that legalistic frame. It's like, if that's your conviction, that's cool. But I think in a way it got forced onto many people now.
Yeah.
This is the only way we can do worship. And I was not for that stuff.
Okay.
But again, when you need to you don't really see it as much, but I could tell. I was like, this is not. It goes back to that gum analogy, like putting gum in my hair, because this is how you're gonna do things. And I'm
Church
like,
trauma.
no, yeah, it's just church trauma. Because like we can do worship in different ways, and we can kumbaya at the end of the day. We don't have to like do it the same way, and it's fine. Just if that's your style, you're into your stuff more classical and more chill. You do your thing, but don't force it down everyone's throat. Like, this is the gospel, this is the truth.
Yeah.
I think that was really weaponized or whatever. I don't hate those guys. It's just that was their conviction.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, now I think maybe the Western Christianity has helped me to see that empathy. Like, what would Jesus do kind of situation? Would Jesus even argue about trivial things? So I think stuff like that is what, I was like, that was a weird and at least it was towards the end of when I was leaving Kenya at that point. But I was like, we wasted breath on like small, none even here, even some congregations here in Canada as well are very conservative and just very traditional. For me, I respect that. It's like, if that's your vibe, cool. I wouldn't come argue with you. You do you. But if I don't worship there, I want to. That's me. And if you call me into church and you want me to sing a type of ways, that's again, I disagree with different worship leaders, because I will camouflage to whatever you want, and you guys have a good experience. Some people will just be like, we'll force our way down your throat, and
and you'll have to accept
it as it is. But yeah, I don't care about that. I'm like, it's meant to be an environment for everybody. So whatever makes everyone feel accommodated, we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna go back to your experience in New York for a while, and I was gonna say that did you have to learn like Spanish in like 2 hours or something like that?
No. We
like a Spanish crash course.
No. I did some research before.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know it was that much Spanish, but I was surprised, because we just had a few songs in Spanish, and I was like, whoa, like, you all know like what's like a song, like what's a common worship song? Holy, what's the song? Agnus Dei. Hallelujah, worthy is the Lamb. Like, in my mind, I think that's common worship songs for everybody. And then just realize, like, whoa, people don't even know that. I was like, so are you guys Christians for real? But no, they are. It's just different playlists. I just say it's different playlists, and it's fine. So just work with whatever. But at least hymns are more common, and you work on the connecting ground, because people grew up on the same things. So just work with that, and it's cool. But again, we had instances where even like sometimes our drummers are told to like tone it down, or like don't play some places. I was like, but you knew when you invited us anyway. So different things like that. But again, it's like, it's just people don't get feelings and whatever. Just understand people where they are, and just work with what you have.
This reminds me of an experience that I had many years ago. Maybe 5-10 years ago, I traveled to England sometime. There's this city, I think it's called East Anglia, or the region is called East Anglia. And my wife was going to school there at the time, and so we decided to drive to East Anglia. And so we spent the night there, and then in the morning we decided to visit the ocean. I guess from the ocean you can see Netherlands or something like that. Maybe that's what they say, like the shore or the beach, whatever. So we were over there, and then we decided to go have breakfast. So they have this. So the English people have beer for breakfast, and so we're going to a pub for breakfast. And so we were having a breakfast, and then this band that is playing. And then I decided to sing with the band. So I stand up, and I'm like, one day on break, and I'm like, I want to sing a song with you guys. I can sing. I'm from Canada, and they're like, we got Joab from Kenya via Canada or via Toronto. He's here to sing with us today. And so we're looking for a song to sing, and I'm like, what, the commonest song that you can sing? I couldn't understand on the song they were singing. And they probably don't know any songs that I know. So I said, you know what, let's do Amazing Grace. It's a common song.
That's it.
Because Amazing Grace, man.
Yo, it'd be like that. Even the common things you think are common.
I used to imagine that
everyone knows it, exactly.
Amazing Grace.
You'd be surprised.
Every musician knows Amazing Grace, but I was very surprised.
It's the one that's different.
So we ended up doing Aretha Franklin. I think the song was Mary, Don't You Weep. Don't you mourn, something like that. Yeah, I didn't know the song, but I learned the song like real quick on the spot. All the songs that I was suggesting, I didn't know any of them. So I didn't want to look too daft. I was like, Aretha Franklin, I can try that.
I can try something.
Yeah, let's try.
She sounds familiar. I remember when I did another gig somewhere else, and then that's when I realized I'm actually old. I was like, I'm always a child in my head. I'm still children, but we went, and they were like 15-year-olds, like maybe 10 years younger than I am, and then we're doing like songs like Jesus is the Answer, like just common worship songs, and like no one knew the song. I was like, wait, I actually paused a second. Maybe I was like, wait, do you guys know the song? Because this is common. Like, are you actually Christian at this point? Like, let's check your Christian card. And they're like, no, we just don't know. I'm like, there's a generational shift happening. People actually don't know the stuff we think is common.
Exactly.
Maybe Amazing Grace will just be like some uncommon stuff.
Yeah.
If we don't pass it down. So make traditional music like the next popular thing. Make it big again. People should know like the staples of Christian music. Like, that's important.
What do you ever miss about worshiping in Kenya? Or what's the one thing that you missed most about worshiping in Kenya?
Wow. I think the concert scene, the a cappella vibe, and just everyone just being all excited about like music like that was super cool. It was just like the way you guys have parties, like we had like Christian parties. That was like the Christian party, like Friday night. Like where are we going? Like new church, new whatever. Like that was we're turning up somewhere. That was our turn up. I think that's what I miss the most. Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at the young folk today or young Christians, we're talking about, what we need to pass down to the younger generation.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not old, so I mean, you're 4 years
You'd be
old.
surprised.
You're 4 years younger.
We're being aged out here.
Yeah, actually, that is true because I was in a concert recently,
Yeah.
and this lady was singing. The name is Ludi Merrill. Shout out to Ludi.
She kills it. Ludi, yeah.
And so it turns out, I'd never experienced Ludi before, so this is the first time I was experiencing her, and she did a really good job. And so when I was sitting in this concert, I was looking at the folks singing, and I was like, man, that was me a few years ago.
Man.
That was me. This time round, I was just seated, enjoying the music, doing nothing,
Receiving.
touching no camera. Time I would be, around in the camera equipment and stuff like that, or that I'd be behind the mic myself. This time I was just sitting down. I was not an MC or anything. I was just sitting down and listening to music. But then something else that I noticed, these are kids that I saw growing up. So one of the guys playing the piano, his name is Mang. I forgot his English name. But Mang is a kid that I saw growing up.
Craig.
Craig, yes.
Yeah.
So I saw Craig growing up, man. I mean, it was
For
like a kid,
real.
like a kid,
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm old.
That's crazy. Man, people grow and they bloom, man, into like crazy musicians.
But I'm also very happy with what they're doing. Craig was,
true.
playing the piano wonderfully.
Exactly.
Nash also does a good job.
And I feel like even the bar back home is like the excellence bar just increased. Like people are making like albums, like singles. I'm like, this is what's up. Like it was cool to just do concerts and like all this inspirations and the Vespers programs. But again, people are actually now taking music professionally, I think, which is a future of, especially even worship music in the Adventist space, because people just do it very casually. It's like, we sang here, that was it. But it's like, no, put the music out there. Like, let's record stuff. Let's take it out there. Like, it's not enough to just sing it. It's cool to sing it in church and like everything is cool. But again, why can't we take it professionally like other people take it? Yeah. Like, I wanna see a day where more people live off of like they make a living out of like music as Adventist, as more Christian artists. So that's like, in my life, that's like one of my goals. Like, if I see that happen, if I become even myself, like if I become like an artist just living off of my music as a worship artist or whatever, like I'd be so proud of that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen, especially in Brazil. They have a couple of Adventist musicians who actually do it full time.
Who was telling me about it? Nash was actually telling me about it.
Yeah.
He wants to travel to Brazil.
Brazil is where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Adventism there it's different.
Yeah, and I think they were saying that Hope Channel
there.
is what it's called.
They have like 3 to 5 million views, subscribers. And even one of their artists from there, they came to Canada like a few months ago. They did a show here. Like, it's a big thing. Like, they actually take their music seriously. People know their songs. The way you know Amazing Grace, like people actually know their local music. Like, people know their stuff worldwide. So
that's amazing.
That's a good ecosystem. I think that people should, Adventism should create to support or worship artists. So I think that's the future. Like, more recordings, more productions. Like the way we support Maverick City. Like, let's support like there's a concert happening here. People are releasing music. Let's show up. Let's stream the music. Let's buy music. Show up for concerts. That's the future.
Yep. Since we're doing this, actually, shouting out people, I want to shout out. So this episode is probably going to come out the week after Nash's episode comes out, and I know that a few weeks ago, by now, when you're watching this, Nash will have released his latest album. Together with, I think they bring out a series and a book as well.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah, called Love Something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had my phone, I would check right now. But yeah, so go out and check out Nash and Jackson Size, releasing his book, The In Between.
Yes, The In Between. That's
You know,
true.
one thing I'm proud about, I suggested that title. Was one of the people who suggested
for
the title of
real?
the book. I mean, Jackson posted
You
it.
put a poll online.
Yeah, a poll, and I was one of the people who polled for it. So I'm like, yes, I chose the title.
Your title made it.
Yeah, I'm gonna force myself in there. You know.
You're part of the creators.
Yeah,
you know.
part of the
I
creators.
think
yeah.
that's the stuff. I think I'm just proud of everyone doing like any creative thing in the Christian ecosystem, and that even in the Adventist ecosystem, just
Yeah.
pushing yourself out there, man, and just starting. Because I think it takes a shit. That's how you make an industry. It starts like just slowly those building blocks, and then 10 years later, it'll be like people will be doing this. Like it's gonna be a common thing. Right now, it's
Yeah.
like a new thing, but again, it's like it's gonna be a common thing, and that's how we should aim it to be. So I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
actually, growing up, Sai used to challenge me. It's like, why don't you guys just do your own music? Why are you doing covers? Like, growing up, concerts are all about like inviting all the best singing groups. Like, it's like, no, why just do your own shows, your own group, and make your own thing? Like growing up, I was like so scared of those ideas, but now looking back, I was like, Sai, you are right. Sai, this is your camera. You are right. That's the future right now. I think we even spoke with him a few years ago as well. Like now we're actually doing the stuff he was seeing like 10, 15 years ago, and it's like that's what we're actually doing right now. And I'm like, this is the future.
Yeah.
Let's create. Even I was talking to Ash as well, and went back home a few years ago, just creating music. Like there's people like Obed Mwendi, people just coming up with cool stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be like hire like 10 cameras or whatever. Just whatever you have, be faithful.
Yeah.
That's where the plug to my Arisi
True.
channel. Like I was like, we make production become such a big thing in our head, but it's like you have the camera, you have a phone in your hand, just get a tripod, just start somewhere. And
Yeah.
you never know. So that's the stuff. Let's create.
Beautiful.
Couch connect. Let's not let the conversations there at Sabbath school or whatever we in our living rooms. Let's put it out there. Because why are
Yeah.
people watching Oprah? Let's watch Couch Connect too.
Yeah. True, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
You know, but while we're talking about this, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges of young Christians today? The reason I'm asking this is because I think that over the years,
Yeah.
more and more young people are leaving the church, or at least in my opinion,
I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask that. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's my group, my sphere is very different, and we didn't.
all
really
your folks
experience-
stayed within the church.
Yeah, I think like 90 to 100% stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, why are you guys leaving? Please, I'm asking the same thing. Why are you guys leaving the church? Like the church is cool. So I don't know. I think people just don't have a way to relate. If you don't have a reason to stay, then you just leave.
Yeah.
So I think people have more reasons to stay than maybe that stay.
Okay.
You don't have to sing, because I think for me the biggest thing was because singing kept me, because
Yeah.
music and all this stuff. So I think just find a reason why you like church for you, not because your parents said so, whatever, just for you.
Yeah, so maybe then I could segue that question into how can we make them want to stay or find a reason to stay, because that's what you said, that
Makes
you know,
sense.
maybe they're losing
So
the
yeah,
reason
that
to stay.
whatever gifts you see someone has as a young person or any age, if you see any gifts, I think that's an easy way to don't make them burn out though, but make them get involved in church.
Yeah,
At least now
use
they
that
have
gift.
use that gift. They can, if they're technical in any way, they can use a computer, put them on like the AV team. If they can speak or just talk to a crowd, put them up there to say something. If they can, like, they're good at designing, put them to design your church graphics or whatever, because you're old people, we don't like your graphics. Anyway, trust your young people. Like anything you see them doing, really, like music, like, I don't know, anything artsy, if they want to do drama, like just start anything creative. If you want to come up with movies, like support them, like
Yeah.
anything really. If they want to sub as VBS, sub with kids, just think of anything creative. Like if you guys want to set a mechanic shop in your church,
Yeah.
and they have maybe some other people have the gift, you can even teach the younger people and make it a thing. So I
Yeah.
think this church is doing very creative things out here, and I think there's space for anyone who wants to be a part.
Yeah, and I think that question ties actually well in with my next question, which is going to be, how do you think churches are, or maybe I could rephrase that question, because what you answered before. So I would also rephrase the question to be, how do you think the church can adapt to the needs of young people today? And one of the needs that I'm looking for here is a place where you can have your mental needs or your mental space taken care of. So how do you think we can have the church or churches adapting to these needs of young people?
I think the first
today?
thing is just to be present. I think the church is always about like the youth are leaving, whatever, but where are you, who's coming up with the discussion? Are you chilling with the young people? Like, just go chill with them at Sabbath school or like at a potluck. Instead of sitting with the older folks, come sit with them, just hear what they're talking about and see where you can help, where you can support.
Yeah.
If you have a space in your house, invite them over, like have just like a potluck and just let them chill and hang. From there, you can now get to hear their needs, whatever they're struggling with, whatever they're curious about. That's good spaces where you can be like, hey, let me they're looking for jobs, for example. Like, hey, how can we help them connect them? Where they're looking for relationship advice, or they're like, how do we even start this? They're looking for like financial advice, like how do we afford all these cool houses we see out here? Like anything. We should just sit with people, just take your time with even no agenda, just chill there. And as long as they get enough trust and they can start speaking freely when you're there, then from there it's a good start to just start to listen to their needs, rather than just going to a board meeting and just coming up with programs for them that they may care or may not care about.
Yeah.
I think just start chilling with them. I think even me coming here for church, I've really seen older people who have just taken their time to just, they don't even have kids like in this age group, but they're just taking their time to mentor people, like just come chilling with us.
Yeah.
If you need anything during the week, if they have a job they need help with, you're the first they call. If they have some, like anything cool, they can recommend your name. So I think those are the people, like it's like you're looking for your allies.
Yeah.
If young people can feel like you have allies in church, then it's easier. It becomes an easier conversation about service, about doing what, hearing your thoughts and stuff like that.
I think I agree with you. How we can come down to their level too, let's say you were 18 years today, maybe younger than that. What advice do you have now that you would give to the junior who would be maybe 10 years younger than you today?
Advice to myself or to someone else?
Could be to yourself or to someone else.
It's a very different, I don't know.
Okay, so let's do the two. So what would you tell someone who's very young right now?
In terms of what, just any advice?
Yeah, advice to them. And most could be related to, how they can become better at church or how they could improve their worship experience.
I think, okay, let me start with me. I think for me, like you're on the right track. I think I'm excited for you to find out about Jesus for yourself and what salvation means for you. I think that's like you'll get peace in your Christian life when you understand that. And then to other people, it's just like find a way to plug into like a church community. I think if you get like Christian friends, I think that's actually a big thing. Get a Christian friend group. I think when you do that, 50% of your battle is already won. You're in the right hands, and then from there, your interest will start, without even you realizing it, your interest will start shifting in a way of like, hey, I like this now rather than this. There's people I even make fun of, like it's like, you're a church person now? Like in what world? I never believe some people who are church people now. I'm like, I didn't see you a heathen, but I was like, I just never saw some people just being church people.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, by their company, they changed their company. Their friend group started being like more church people, and then like, wow, it's a whole different person at this point.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very easy entry for you 17-year-olds. Just look for a church community, church friends. It might feel weird in the beginning, but when you start slowly, you'd be surprised how your interests change. Like your taste changes.
Yeah.
That's what the Lord does when you seek Him. That's the thing about seeking God first, and things will be added unto you. So if you seek God, and then I see your palate will change for things you crave, things you want.
Yeah.
So church community is huge.
I do agree with that. There's something you said. So you said three things about the Adventist church. The one thing that we didn't get to talk about was the second coming of Jesus. So what is that?
Jesus, He came the first time.
Okay.
We're gonna talk. Easter is coming soon, so it's going to be past when this airs. But it's all about Jesus came and died for you and me, so that you can have like eternal life. Because right now we die, and it looks like it's the end of our story. But as Christians, we believe like the story is not over. We're in the grave right now, but hey, there's a whole new life, a whole new. Actually, the last few weeks I've been reflecting about the new earth. We talk about like heaven and the second coming of Christ, but again, there's heaven we're going to go to, and then after 1,000 years, we're going to have something called the new heaven and the new earth. Like everything will be like afresh, like reconstructed, like a whole new concept. Imagine.
That's like some serious Christian science there.
Like that stuff gets me so excited, because I think we always talk about like heaven is like a land of milk and honey. We'll just be chilling and doing nothing. But I feel like there'll be so much more. Like I don't know about heaven, but I'm saying it's in the new earth. Like I'm like, are we gonna have like the best skyscrapers in the world? Like we'll be flying. Like
I guess interest is gonna change.
I don't know. Will we have like, when we're paying taxes, will it actually be working for us? Like I wanna see a society where like that actually works.
Yeah.
Like even a regular society, I wanna see like this, but now a working model.
Yeah.
Like someone said they're gonna build a road today, and it's actually built, and like we're having cool programs. I just wanna see society works. So
yeah.
I'm just excited about beyond even heaven, like the new earth, like just everything 2.0.
Yeah.
So that's I think, and that's a hope for Christians. It's about you've made it through all these tribulations in this earth. You've gone through the journey here.
Yeah.
And now there's like a bigger promise. Like, because we always focused about everything here, our problems here. But, there's just so much more. And it's hard for you. It's hard for us to think that far.
Yeah.
But when you lock into that idea, it's like, it is what like when this will come and go. But there's so much out there.
Yeah.
I think we give up so easy because of like the trials we have now. It's like, whatever. Like, I don't trust in God anymore. It doesn't make sense. But if you look big picture, I think that's what Jesus was trying to tell us when he was on earth the whole time. It's like, just endure for now, like be patient, do all these things. But there's a great, when he says it's a greater promise, you better believe it. If he's saying whatever he saw here was like nothing yet, like just how much, like just imagine, I don't know, I get excited about that stuff. Like, the new heaven, the new earth.
Yeah.
A perfect place. Like, what does that look like? I don't even know. Like, I'm excited. Like, even people talk about like streets of gold. I'm like, that's okay. But like, just how much more can it be? Like, let's be moving from here to there with like jetpacks, teleporting. I don't know what the future is.
Yeah.
Yeah. A world with no traffic. Just even the simple things, man. I don't even care about streets of gold. Just no traffic. No accidents, imagine.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my 180 nicely and I'm getting there safe and sound. Like, I don't know. I don't know that. Will there be cars, no cars? I don't know, whatever. But just a cool new concept, cool new idea.
Yeah. I just want to, plug in my needs here and say that I need the gold here. I don't need
a deposit here.
I don't need the gold in heaven, man.
just give it to me here. Yeah, actually, when you have gold in heaven, what do you do with it? Like, we'll have everything there.
Yeah.
Just give me some of it here.
When I think about it, I hear that in Jupiter it rains diamonds. And diamond is so valueless there. So it's like in heaven, gold is going to be very valueless.
Even how what is value? I even think about even value. Like, we say gold is like all these millions of dollars. Like, because it's a means of trade. But again, if you have everything, if you have a mansion in heaven, why do I care about the gold? Like,
true, man.
Gold is like a regular stone at that point. Like, it's just a shiny stone. Like,
the streets can be as
because those things matter to us now. Because it's like we are viewing it in earthly things. Like, I can afford all this, but you already have you're chilling. You're your heavenly Father.
Yeah,
a cattle of 1,000 hills, whatever. Like, you have it there. So it's like gold.
So
whatever.
I want the gold here.
Yeah. So deposit here. God, fast track it.
Yeah, man.
No, but there's so much in store, which is like that, and that's our true hope. Adventism, the word has just hope in it. Like, we're hoping for something instead of just like waiting and like end time just like hiding and whatever. There's the bigger part is just hope.
Yeah. Man, whenever I'm seated with anybody here, I treat them like a president, a king or a queen.
I feel it today.
And I borrow this model from the United States, where the president who's coming into office normally leaves a letter for the president who's coming in, after them. And so since we ask questions over here, when a guest is seated where you're seated, they normally leave a question to the next guest.
Oh.
So the question
Someone does this podcast that does that. It's a podcast.
Yeah, the Diary of a CEO.
He does that?
Yeah, Stephen Butler does that
I also think Jay Shetty does something about, like, I think asking questions too. Yeah, but I think Diary of a CEO does that more.
Oh, okay.
It has like 5, he just does 5 rapid fire questions. But yeah, Diary of a CEO does that.
Yeah. I tried the 5 rapid fire questions, man. It didn't work the first time I tried.
It became half an hour.
No, it actually wasn't that long, but the people didn't get the questions right.
Why?
And I felt, maybe I asked too hard questions, and I felt like maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't know. Do you think you'd be embarrassed if I asked you questions that you couldn't answer?
No, why?
So if I asked you 5 questions really rapidly?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try it. I have the questions here.
Oh, man is ready.
I have the questions here from that guest.
That episode.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask
this
you.
Is hard. So whatever they failed.
No, they weren't hard. So
let's try. And even if it's hard, I'll just pass. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just love how the podcast has come so far. That's something I'm really proud of. Like, wow.
Yeah, man.
You remember the setup days?
Yeah, man.
Like,
it used to take hours to set up.
We used to drive to different venues.
Yeah.
And just do the whole.
I mean, I still do that.
You still go to different places?
Yeah, I still go to different places wherever I am. I mean, mostly I want to come to the guests. I also want to experience.
But again, we used to do live streaming, and
that was difficult.
Issues of like everything looks good on paper, but when you go set up different places, things happen.
Yeah, man.
It was a good run.
Here goes.
Let's go.
What is the capital of Ghana?
Accra.
What is the capital of Nigeria?
Abuja.
The capital of Ethiopia, home to the African Union headquarters, is?
Addis Ababa.
Monrovia is the capital of which African nation?
Sorry, what country?
Monrovia. Monrovia is the capital of which African nation?
I don't know. Pass.
What is the capital of Zimbabwe?
Harare.
What African country has Nairobi as its capital?
Kenya.
What is the capital of Tanzania?
Dodoma.
The capital of Somalia?
Mogadishu.
The capital of the Central African Republic?
Pass.
Maseru is the capital of which country? It's landlocked and it's within South Africa.
Lesotho.
Great, man. You did great. So you missed Central African Republic. That is
Yeah.
Bangui, and Monrovia is Liberia. You did quite well, actually.
That's actually this is a geography. I thought you asked like life questions.
No, they weren't life questions.
Oh,
They were
okay.
basically, general
Yeah, but
questions.
if someone didn't like geography, then yeah, I'd see it'd be hard for them.
Yeah.
Actually, growing up, I used to like read the atlas every day. I just love the
Damn.
atlas.
What are you doing reading the atlas?
No, because it's a graphical thing. It's just like it's a nice. It was
Oh,
colored.
yes,
it was
the
really
pictures.
nice. The
And they had pictures in there
Yeah,
also.
it was just pictures and like all the capitals are labeled in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep flipping and it was nice.
I remember there was this picture of a girl. I think I was 14 years old at this
Yeah.
time, and there was this picture of this girl. I think from Nepal or something, and they say
Yeah.
that this girl lives in a Nepalese what do you call it? A Nepalese slum.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, bring her over here. She's very beautiful. She doesn't look like she's in trouble. Bring her over here. I'll take care of her. You know?
You'll elevate her life.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing about our upbringing. We're very. I think it's a Kenyan thing. We're very
Mm-hmm.
globalized very early.
Yeah.
Like you're meant to see. We learn different histories of different parts of the world. English is our primary language as well. So it's set up in a way to just connect with outside rather than even. I think that's something I miss as well. Like just learning more about Kenya for Kenya. I think which people are actually learning now, like with all these revolutions and stuff. It's like we're actually caring about our stuff.
Yeah.
It is a good thing. It's easy for us to work anywhere in the world, but it's just like now we're getting to explore. Even in music, I think growing up, I feel like I was whitewashed. I never enjoyed like Kiswahili songs and whatever. I used to make fun of them.
Yeah. Do
But
you enjoy them now?
Now I'm like I love them. Like it's
Actually,
it's-
yeah. That's what you're doing in Arisi.
Even that part of that again, because
The two
I'm
songs that
known
you
as Evans
released.
everywhere, but now
Yeah.
I'm going with Arisi, like as a brand name. It's connecting more to my roots. I think this
Yeah.
part. I was talking to one of my girlfriend's friends. She was saying like when you leave the country again, you start getting this sudden patriotism to you.
Yeah.
You love your country more. I think that's because when you're away from it, so you miss it more.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is like again like there's so much history or like stuff we missed, but I'm like now let me try to soak it in. Like all the songs I didn't grow up listening to. I'm like. Because maybe we were made fun of listening to them growing up. It's like,
Yeah.
why could you? But I'm like, this is actually gold. There's some wisdom here. There's some beautiful melodies here. So I'm
Yeah.
like, just trying to learn and tap into. So like that's the stuff we miss. Like we just like we didn't. Even like in the Adventist culture, like we didn't end up seeing all this like cool Kiswahili songs. It's
Yeah.
like we're just following the traditional the hymn book from the 1600s. I'm like, support your local artists too. Like what are we just going for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So
Do you
I'm
record
like-
every day for Arisi?
No, I do batch recording.
Okay.
Actually, this is courtesy of my friend. It was actually my resolution for this year to start my page and record stuff at
Yeah.
home. And so Ray just came randomly to my house one day. He's like, today's the day we're recording everything because I already had all the equipment in my house. I just
Yeah.
never got to do it. And then we just set up and then did batch recording. So at least we try once or twice a month. We record a lot. Then we just post it like every Friday.
Cool stuff, man.
So
maybe
I love it.
maybe soon you're gonna be posting more. I don't know.
Every Friday now, at least
Yeah.
I'm starting easy. The idea is consistency first, and then
True, man.
I can post because it can start hot and then like die quick. So let's
Yeah.
not do that.
Yeah. Don't do what I do with the couch connection 1.0.
No, we tried. No, you did well. Your heart was there.
Yeah, man. I burnt out though. I burnt out
Yeah.
really
I
bad.
think it was a logistical nightmare. I think. in that
Yeah,
case,
it
'cause,
was.
Yeah. The concept felt easy, but just the execution.
Execution,
it's
man,
It's,
damn.
it's starting with the traffic first of all. To
Yeah.
the destination, then whatever mishaps, and you have a set start time to start.
I never used to sleep till like 4 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, and then that meant that on the entire day Saturday I'll just be sleepy.
Why till
the whole
4?
day. Because I'd be driving back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'd probably leave whenever I am at like maybe midnight.
Midnight. Oh, I see.
Get home at like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, getting ready and stuff
That
like that.
was
Sleeping
crazy.
getting to bed at 3. Maybe I'm on the phone or something. End up sleeping at 4, and then in the morning I'm waking up at like 9. I'm
Church.
sleepy there all day.
That's the thing. Sabbath rest, guys. That's rest. I'm like that. It was a good concept, but yeah, it was intense.
hmm
Yeah.
So the question for you from the guest who was seated there before is: do you sit with yourself enough?
Yes, I feel like I do too much actually. I always something I learned when I came here. Lots of therapy and like self work is all about checking in with yourself. So I always check if everything is right with myself. If anything feels off, I address it. I think sometimes I can get too much in my head again when I sit with myself too much. I'm like, no, touch grass, go hug a tree. The universe is still real. Everything's fine. The world is not burning. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
I have to give myself those reminders. I'm like, yeah, but I'm always checking in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Junior, man, it's been nice sitting with you here and having this chat, man.
Thanks for
It's
having me.
wholeful, and you've dropped your wisdom here.
I hope so. I hope so. It's been a pleasure.
Is there anything that you would have liked to say, but I didn't give you an opportunity to say? If there's anything like that, you can take a moment.
I
here
had
and
a
say
whole
it.
segment in my mind, but you didn't bring it up. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna be the next big worship leader. When you buy Mavic City tickets, just buy my tickets to one day. That's all I'm saying. Put it in there. But no, I just appreciate the passion you have for just listening to people's stories, and it's just been a good journey. And yeah, thanks for having me. And I think for just the person who has those ambitious dreams growing up of being in the Christian worship space, and you're gonna strive there, just believe it. It's possible. Just don't kill your dream, and let it be an authentic worship from your heart in like whatever you do. If it's music, if it's preaching, whatever. If you're doing it for God, please do it wholeheartedly. And I'm rooting for you. You 17-year-old or whatever age you are. You 4-year-old. Like, you're gonna be a star. Just keep at it. Keep God at the center. It's possible. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Can you remember the greatest piece of advice you've received in your life? Who was it from, if you can remember?
Ooh, I don't probably my therapist. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember like one.
Why do you go to therapy?
This is a whole new podcast. I thought we finishing here. I don't know. Therapy is amazing.
Of course, we're done. We're just wrapping up now. Yeah.
This can start another conversation. The therapy is a good, like you said, checking in with yourself and just self-awareness. And if you have different cycles, you're like, why am I always in this cycle? Like, I'm a huge procrastinator.
Yeah.
I had issues with relationships as well growing up, like not connecting with people. So I think that really helped unblock me for the most part.
Yeah.
So all those things. I think therapy is it's someone who can see your blind spots. Because sometimes we live with our own stories and what keeps us in the same loop. But when someone else, it can even be a friend, honestly. Just a therapist can see some, like they're trained, so they can see some stuff that friends can't see.
Yeah.
But if you have a friend who's trained to spot those things, and you get a friend like that.
Beautiful.
So I think that's the power of it.
So what's the biggest piece of advice he gave you, or he gave you?
Yeah. I think it's not really advice. Like it's always just self-reflection. But I think that's hard. This is actually different. It's not even about worship or anything, but it's about relationships.
Yeah.
It's actually my new therapist now. This is like a different. Actually, I remember you guys came over to our house one time. You're talking to my uncle and aunt, and they actually told you guys the same thing. But it's all about how men and women are in relationships. Sometimes women are the emotional mind, and men are very logical. So some things we count things logically. We experience life in a very logical in our mind, in man's language, but women experience life in woman's language. So I think understanding the two,
Yeah.
So I think you have to really have empathy for the other person, be selfless to understand the other person, and a big thing is just turn off don't view the world like the way you view it when you're working with your partner.
Yeah.
Let's say. So if your partner is an emotional mind, see the world through them, and like 90% of your arguments will be gone, like literally. Because we come to a discussion with our points of view. I'm like, logically this doesn't make sense. This is how I see it. They're like, no, whatever. They're pushing back. But they're just expressing their needs. I think if you just see, it's like, oh, they're trying to say that point because they feel this way.
Yeah.
Oh, so when you address that feeling, then the issue is actually solved. Even forget the logical issue. So I'm like, life is way simpler. Even like about like how men and women count gifts or bids. Like I remember you were talking about like you can get a helicopter for your girl today, and like you feel like you've done one big thing for the year.
Yeah.
But them, it's like for you feel like you have 10,000 points. But for them, it's like that's just 1 point. But for them, you just wash dishes, you just pick the garbage. Like those are more points than the whole helicopter thing. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we view things logically versus how they view things. I think that was a game changer for me. I learned through therapy and just community as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. So here's your opportunity now to ask a question
The next guest.
to the next guest. So,
I don't know who the guest is.
I also don't know who the guest is.
Oh, it's just a random
No,
question.
actually, I actually know who
You know?
the guest is, yes. So it's the opportunity. You can grab the iPad.
Oh, I just write it.
Yeah, you write it down.
Oh, wow. This is fancy.
Funny thing, I don't see the question until the guest is seated before me.
For real.
Until like 5 minutes before I ask the question or 2 minutes before I ask the question. That's when I see the question. So take your time and think about it.
I don't ask a generic question. I don't ask like something. I don't know the person, so it needs to be generic. Okay.
I can tell you, he's in the construction industry.
That didn't help. I just need to the person. We got something. I don't know how to use an Apple Pencil. This is hard.
There's the...
Okay, got it. I got
there
it.
you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Beautiful. So just scroll up the other way.
This way.
Yeah, the other way. That way. Yeah, thanks. Hi, man. Arisi,
Thank you.
hanging out with you has been beautiful, man. Thanks for
Pleasure.
honoring this couch so many times. With your hands, with your voice, and today with your advice, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll never tire of having you around, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for this space, man. It's always a good time. Always a good time.
Yeah,
And it's fancy. I love the setup too.
thank you. If you made it this far, I think it's because you did like this episode. So I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to this channel. And do share this with your friend and tell them to tell their friends. Till next time, do take care.